Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Az has handed in a transfer request. It seems like after a year and a few months at Accenture, he has felt that it is time to move on and handed in a transfer request in order to push this move. I'll hand it over to our man, Jeff Shreves, who is currently interviewing now. Jeff, over to you. So Az, we didn't expect this turn of events coming into the new season. With the window coming to a close, why have you decided to hand in a transfer request now?
Yeah, so handed in the transfer request. Felt like the level of progression that was going on just didn't match, and looking at other avenues to investigate.
Regarding your new company, can you provide us with any detail of who you are joining?
As of now, can't comment on that. There's some work is going on in the background, but hopefully good news will be coming out, and that will satisfy both clubs. But looking forward to what the future holds for me.
Do you feel like your time at Accenture was a success?
Definitely. I mean, I've had a great time at this company, but I feel like it's just come to a point where I need a new change. Hence why I handed in the transfer request. So yeah, we'll let you know anything changes.
Thank you for the interview.
Cheers. Thank you. So you can see from the title, yeah, I've quit Accenture. By the time this video comes out, I probably would have already left, or I've handed in my notice, so I'm in the period of leaving. So today's video, I'm just going to be talking about the motivations of why I left, and it's just not going to be just a negative video. I'm going to be talking about the positive aspects as well, because I've learned so much over the last year. I also made a lot of friends, spoken to a lot of new people, stuff like that. So I'm going to give you a balanced view as to the good parts of Accenture and some of the parts in which motivate me just to leave. But before I proceed, I just want to say thank you for all the love and support. We're a couple of subscribers away from 100 subscribers, so make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, share it out. Let's try and hit that goal, and let's get straight to it. So I'm going to start off by having the positives. So the positives, I would say that in Accenture, if you're someone that comes in without hardly any experience, or you don't know how the corporate world works, Accenture is a really good and great place to start off. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you start off on a graduate scheme, like I did for the software engineering graduate scheme, the amount of skills and tools that I've learned and used throughout my time was amazing. So I did the software engineering graduate scheme, so I had the 2-week training initially. It's more like consultancy training, it's more like a general training, nothing specific. Then afterwards, I went through the bootcamp, and the bootcamp, that's where I learned a lot about web development, I learned a lot about cloud infrastructure. And yeah, that's mainly sort of like the specific coding skills sector part. So yeah, I learned loads of great skills during that time. So after the 10-week bootcamp, we were placed on the bench and we were looking for a role. So I was looking for a cloud engineer / Devops role, and I found one for the NHS, and that's what I've been working on for the past year. So one of the great positives is that of the skills that you learn throughout your time. So before I started Accenture, I've only done like a summer internship. I never really started a graduate scheme. So once I started my graduate schemes, the skills that I learned were a lot. So I learned general training. We did like a 2-week training period of just consultancy training. And afterwards, I did 10-week boot camp. And then once I've done the boot camp, that's where I learned specific coding skills, specific programming skills, how to use cloud infrastructure, how to use front end, back end, skills, stuff like that. So that's one great positive thing about Accenture, right? Is that when you're starting off, they really give a lot of emphasis on learning. They really help you. They give you all the best tools there is available out there. There's also tools such as like Cloud Guru, where you can learn at your own pace. So you look at, let's say, cloud information such as AWS. If you want to do the practitioner exam, they provide you tutorials, stuff like that. There's a lot of support for you for when you start off, and there's a lot of material out there for you to learn. You just gotta make that effort and then just learning, and then let's see if you want to take the exams, you just tell Accenture, I want to take the specific exams. More than likely they'll pay for you, and they really help you, and that's one great thing about Accenture. But if the new graduates coming in, I would say Accenture is really great for you to start off your career. So another great aspect at Accenture is the people I've met, so the people in my network, and it ranges from analysts all the way up to senior leadership team. This network that I have has been really helpful. It started with the analyst group that I've done my training with. We have little subcoms in which we can run multiple events. You meet other people, and these events are always paid by Accenture. We did events such as mini golf. We've done events such as darts. We've done sort of like Christmas parties, stuff like that. And it's a great way to meet other people from other sectors as well. And then also I had my immediate team that I worked with on my NHS project, and they were some of the greatest people that I've met. I came in as a junior sort of cloud engineer. I didn't really have that much idea. I was learning on the job, but they were patient. They helped me out. We used to do paired programming, and it was a really nice sort of relationship that I had with like the line manager. He always told me that there were any issues to give him a shout, and let's say if I was working on a ticket and I didn't have any clue of what to do, I'd usually give an attempt on it first, see what I can do, and if not, I can then go to the senior devs and ask them, look, I'm having this issue, can you help me out? And it felt like a good relationship because of the fact that when I went to the senior devs, I didn't feel like I was bugging them. They themselves said, and they made it known that their door's open, so if I need help, I can give them a shout. So knowing that, having that feeling in you saying that, oh, if I go to them, you might be worried, but I might be bugging them. They might think of me as someone that doesn't know anything. I'm supposed to know a lot. But the thing is, they were very welcoming, and yeah, I couldn't say anything else. They were such a great team to work with. Another great positive aspect of Accenture is the side of desk responsibilities. Now, the side of desk responsibility is something that is not directly translated to your client work. So for me personally, I was part of the health and well-being team, and it was a great team to work with. I made a lot of friends, and we ran multiple events with people, and it was a good way to see how Accenture were prioritizing the mental health and well-being, so both mental and physical well-being. And they provided us funding to run multiple events. So one example is HIT classes that are run in central London. We ran multiple events of that, and a lot of people loved it. We ran it with, I think they're called Co-box. It was a great workout and stuff like that. We also ran sort of smaller events such as mental health talks. So we had an external speaker coming in talking about how mental health is important, aspects of code switching, how to speak to your manager in case you feel like you're in a tough situation, feel like your manager is not responding too well, and how to sort of communicate that effectively to them. And we ran multiple events, and yeah, I loved being part of the health and well-being team. We also ran events that catered to other people's needs. So there was one in the summer where we ran over a span of a month, I believe, and we had people submitting photos of them going out for walks. So we used to change it up a bit, talking about when you go out for a walk, take a picture of a landmark, take a picture of an animal, stuff like that. And we provided people with incentives such as like points, which they can redeem in the store for whatever they want to buy. So these little things, these were something that I really enjoyed hosting. And when you come to actually planning the event, and then once you see it in action, it really felt nice to me. And so that's one thing that I'm really going to miss as well. So now we're going to move over to some of the reasons as to why I left Accenture. Before I go on, I want to say this is not like super personal reasons of I hate Accenture, I really wanted to leave, stuff like that. It's nothing to do with that. These are just some of the reasons that I had as to why I just wanted to leave and maybe have a fresh challenge or something like that. So yeah, let's get straight to it. So one of the main reasons why I left Accenture is because I just wanted a change of environment. And the current project that I was working on, since it was for NHS, I really enjoyed it. However, I felt like I wanted to move on to sort of a product-based company, and the company that I'm joining, and I'll let you guys know about this later on, they sort of focus on that aspect. And with consultancy, yes, you got that flexibility of, let's say you don't like a project, you join one project and you don't like it, and you might roll off and then join another project. But since you're more as a consultant, which by definition is sort of someone that just comes in, you give them the problem, they provide you the solution with it. You're not someone that actually has root sort of ownership of the actual product. So this is why I mainly moved away, because I wanted to work for a company that actually has sort of ownership of the actual product, whatever they're working on. And yeah, that's mainly one of the reasons why. It's because I'll have a great connection to the actual work I'm doing. And yeah, that's one main reason why I wanted to leave Accenture, because I wanted to move away from the consultancy sort of base model. I've done it for a year and a few months. I want to see how it is working at different companies. So yeah, I just wanted a fresh change, a change of environment, stuff like that. So another reason as to why I left Accenture is mainly because of the tech stack I was working with. So it was mainly about so I was using Terraform, I was using AWS, Azure Devops, stuff like that. But the work we were doing is starting to get a bit repetitive, and the new company that I'm joining, they focus on sort of migrating the on-premise work to cloud, from on-premise to cloud. And that's something that I really want to sort of gain more exposure to. The reason why is because as we are sort of moving towards the future, and as corny as that sounds, we are going to sort of migrate everything really from on-premise to cloud anyway, because it just makes sense. I mean, you've got the whole, it's cheaper to run, it's more like a pay-as-you-go system, so wherever you run, you pay. There's no large amount of costs unless you need that cost, so it's on demand basically. So it's a no-brainer as to why companies are going to be moving over to cloud anyway, and a lot of companies have already started. But since I wanted to gain that exposure, where I was at Accenture, that wasn't really going to happen. So yeah, that was also one reason that motivated me to leave the company. And some people would say, oh, you could have just rolled off the project and just gone to another project where you had this sort of work that you can be like migrating from on-premise to server. However, I will counter that by just saying that, again, it relates back to my first point I was talking about. Just want a fresh change of environment. I want to work on other tech stacks. And the way the bench was looking, there's not a lot of projects that sort of focused on that field, in my sense. It didn't really focus on-premise to cloud. So that's why I pushed up to, I reached out to another company, and yeah, that's why I really wanted to join them instead. So the last part I want to make is sort of the rate of progression. That is one reason why I sort of left Accenture, is because the rate of progression at Accenture was sort of slow for me. I felt like it wasn't matching to what I wanted. So obviously we're talking about salary, and salary is very important for all you new graduates and people out there. Make sure you know about your sort of what range of salary you can demand, especially as you're developing throughout your career. I understand in graduate level you don't really have flexibility of saying I want more on this because I can do X, Y, Z. However, once you sort of develop in the corporate world, you can sort of then go to other companies and say, look, I've done X, Y, and Z sort of work, and I believe I'm worth X, Y, Z. And with Accenture, I just felt like the level of progression was just too slow for me. I just felt like I just needed sort of a change, and I felt like the new company I'm working at, I've heard great things about them. So whenever I do sort of job search and company reviews, I always look. At first, I'll look at my immediate network. Do I have anyone that's worked there? I'll speak to them and say, how is career progression? Because that's one major thing about me, is that I want to progress in my career. Then you can check online, like Glassdoor, like LinkedIn, Indeed reviews, stuff like that. But your network is sort of the best one, because you can speak to them on a one-to-one basis, and they'll give you the most information out there and the most credible information out there. So yeah, this reason's also, again, the previous three reasons I've been talking about is sort of all totals up to as to why I really wanted to leave, why I wanted to leave Accenture. And like I said, I don't want to give this impression to people saying that, oh, I hated my time at Accenture, it was one of the worst. I don't want to say that. I learned so much at Accenture, and for any new graduates who have hardly any experience, or you want to just get a foot into the corporate world, Accenture is a great place to start off. The onboarding support you'd have, the onboarding training you'll have, be it specific to coding, or if you're going for a different role, maybe like a Scrum Master role, you have something available for you. It will really help you sort of start your development, and they can help nurture that as well. But it does get to a point where you might feel yourself, again, like my progression is it's not aligned with the company. So I just want to start a new fresh place or a new fresh environment and see how that is. Yeah, so that's all I have for today. Make sure you like and subscribe. Again, we're close to 100 subscribers. I can sense it. We're only at 98, I think, right now. So let's get to 100. We only need 2 more. So yeah, like, share, and I hope you find this video very informative. If you're someone that's also sort of in the same time region as me, as you've worked in the company for a year and a bit, and we're looking at what to do you want to move out, what are the steps you need to take, give me a shout on my LinkedIn or follow my Instagram, and all these things will be down below. Give me a shout and I can advise you on what to do. Again, it will be very different for everyone. Some people may be loving the fact that they're in the company for a year, they've made loads of friends, they want to stay at the company. I say that's all good, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. But if you are looking to move away, drop me a message on LinkedIn, Instagram, follow the accounts, and I can provide you with help and what resources I use to, first of all, decide whether I fully wanted to leave, and then decide on how to sort of apply for jobs, because obviously there's a correct and incorrect way of applying for jobs. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.